Hey everybody, I'm really late tonight. Been a fun day. Getting ready to get my car tomorrow. But I wanted to come on real quick to tell you today is the first day of Project Feeder Watch, which is a citizen science project with Cornell University Lab, which I have participated in for many years, and it's actually a lot of fun. It's actually an awesome thing to do with your kids if you have never done it before. I'll put a link in the comments to the enrollment page, because you can still enroll. It runs through November to the beginning of April. So they're trying to track birds throughout the winter. And it's a true science project. They want real counts. They don't want people to inflate anything. Even if no birds come to your feeder, they want that information. They're trying to see where the populations of different types of birds move throughout the winter time. So it's pretty cool. So if anybody's hopping on, just say hi so I know you're here, because Facebook doesn't always tell me who's on. And I'm just going to give you a few tips on feeding birds and also some information on what you do during the project. Real quick, real brief. And if you have any comments, questions, put them in the comments, send me messages, whatever, because I've done this for quite a few years, and it's actually very, very interesting. You don't have to have a lot of feeders. If you've never fed birds before, just get one feeder. And if you have never fed birds before, I am going to let you know right now what the best bird seed actually is to feed birds in the wintertime. And that is black oil sunflower seed, because it actually has a high fat content. So it gives birds more energy to survive during the winter. Hey Joe, how are you? So black oil sunflower seed and suet are two great ways to make sure birds have enough fat in their diet to keep them warm throughout the winter. Now at the beginning of winter, there's still, because the snow hasn't come yet, there's still a lot of natural food out there, seed, berries that haven't been eaten yet. If you can't do it through the entire time, but you want to do it for some of the time, register for it at the beginning, because there's only a limited time you can register. But you don't actually have to count every single week. If you can't, that's okay. But even if you want to just feed birds and not participate in the science project, when the birds are really in trouble during the wintertime is late in the season. So when we get into February and March, when in the Northeast anyway, because winter doesn't necessarily end early around here. It can go into May sometimes, but at the end of the year, going into spring, that's when any natural food is really sparse and scarce. If we've got a lot of snow, they can't even find it. I know in our yard, our entire yard is surrounded by farm fields and what I call scrub, which is a lot of low growing bushes and whatever. And I have walked around our property and we have a lot of natural berry bushes here. So we have a lot of birds that hang around in our area all winter long. And I never knew until doing this science project myself that in our area, which is the Northeast, we're in New York State. We're not in New York City, but we're in New York State. Robins actually do not migrate south from here. Most people think that they do, but they don't. They actually congregate in large groups where there is high concentrations of natural food. We actually have robins here, and I didn't realize that until I did this project the first year. So it was kind of a neat thing to find out. We had a whole flock of robins way back in the woods behind us, all all winter long. I was hearing them and seeing them in my yard and going, wait a minute, what are you guys doing here? I thought you were gone. So, and we also have had birds that have come from far north that normally don't come here in the winter. So the winters were really, really harsh up north, and more birds migrated farther south, so they were actually at our feeders. So it's kind of cool because you get to see some birds that don't necessarily normally come to your area, depending on how harsh the winters are around you or northern areas farther north than you are. So it's really kind of a fun thing to do. I've learned a lot about birds just doing that. So I now have tons of bird books. But again, you know, if you are going to start feeding and you've never done it before, don't buy a ton of feeders. Feeding birds is an expensive hobby. And stick to black oil sunflower seed because it is actually inexpensive compared to most, and it gives the birds the most energy. The mixes that you get in the stores that you see, they're really, really cheap, really have a lot of food in them that some of the grains the birds don't even eat. And some of them do not have high energy counts for the birds. They don't have high fat content. So the birds are not helped by that food. It may seem like you're spending less, but you're not benefiting the birds in. So black oil sunflower seed and suet are the two best things to feed in the winter. I also buy a fruit and nut mix personally myself and mix it with my sunflower seeds to add an extra boost, but that is more expensive. So when I do that, I keep a huge bin of black oil sunflower seed in my garage and a bin of the fruit and nut mix mixed with sunflower seed. And when I put it in my bucket to take to the feeders, I do like 3 scoops of the plain black oil sunflower seed, and I add 1 scoop of the berry mix with the nuts. So I still have a high content of black oil sunflower seed all winter long. So those are just my tips, and I will post a link to Project Feeder Watch. Again, it's through Cornell University, their ornithology lab. Pretty amazing. They do so many citizen science projects that you can be part of, your kids can be part of, and it's just looking out at your yard, counting the birds that come to your feeder at specific times, and you can count birds that are also in your yard that don't come to feeders, like hawks. There's several other birds that may eat berries, like I said, robins. American robins don't leave the Northeast. They just congregate in areas where they have natural food. So you may have them in your yard. You can count them. The things you can't count are flocks of birds flying over your feeding area that you set up. So it's a pretty fun thing to do. If you want more information about it, you know, drop a comment and ask me more, or send me a private message and I'll be happy to share, because I've done it for years and I love doing it. So I will be doing it again this winter. You pick 2 days out of the week to count, and you don't have to count for a long period of time. You just pick 2 days, 2 consecutive days of the week that you check your feeders at certain times of the day and just count the birds that are there. And if no birds are there when you're looking, that's okay too. You record that. They give you a sheet to count and record and a place to either mail it in or log it. So I'll give you the link to enroll, and all the information will be on that website. So have a great night, everybody. Talk to you soon. I'll hopefully come to you with a video with my car tomorrow. Love y'all. Bye.